My cat in her old age, like, she would come into my lap every now and then, but like now it's like every day she just wants to be in my lap. And this is not a complaint. I'm bragging. I'm bragging right now. That's what's happening.
Oh, I can hear her. Cat sounds, I think, are a time-honored tradition on the Born to Be Wild podcast. Cat sounds and cat cam.
Yeah,
are a time-honored tradition on the Born to Be Wild. So I never see the cat sounds as a reason to edit anything. Nate's cat butt? Yes, Nate would have Nate would have literally the cat going like straight across his face. Katsu! Katsu! Move your bum. Move your bum, Katsu.
Time's up. Let's do this.
We're in for a wild night.
Welcome everyone to episode 284 of Born to Be Wild, a wild Hearthstone podcast where we have fun, hanging out with friends, talking about the wild formats of Hearthstone, and spotlighting members of the wild community. I am your host, ElectricSheepCity. It's great to be back on this fantastic Friday evening here in Kickin' Rad, Colorado. I am joined by fellow host Schmoopydady.
One day, the show notes won't flashbang me.
For those of you joining us for the first time, welcome aboard. We record this podcast live every Friday evening at twitch.tv/borntobewildhs, and the video version of this podcast is posted to YouTube shortly thereafter. Audio versions are also distributed to all the podcast apps. However you are watching, listening, or absorbing via osmosis this podcast today, thank you. Yes. You. With an added chair creak.
Content plug. Schmoopydady. Before we get into the main topic of the show tonight, I'd like to say a quick thank you to the patrons of our show. Your support means the world to us. If you enjoy this content, please like, subscribe, and comment on this video on YouTube. Another simple way to support the show is to leave a review on your podcast platform of choice. If you're watching live on Twitch, we've got some awesome emotes that you can unlock by subscribing to the channel. This is free if you use Amazon Prime. Finally, if you'd like to support the show financially, you can join our Patreon for as little as $1 per month. We have some channels in the Discord that are unlocked by subscribing to the Patreon, where you can see the show coming together each week. Check it out. If you'd like to interact with us personally, please join our Discord, a free and amazing online community of friends from all across the world who love talking about wild Hearthstone. Links to all of this stuff and more, including our merch, can be found on our website, which is www.borntobewildhs.com. Sheep, how's your week?
It was long, man. It was long. So it started off on Monday. I had an anxiety attack. So I'm actually wearing my Roll for Panic Attack Dimension 20 shirt from it for that. It's not actually a metal band, even though it looks like one. I would listen to Roll for Panic Attack. Would you?
Yes.
So that was fun. That was kind of the beginning of the week. I was kind of getting a little bit of sick. Hey, I fought it off this time. I did not actually succumb. Like
getting those dad immune system where like nothing can break you, or it will break you, but it can't break you for that long because like you need to feed the screaming thing that gave it to you. And
this time, you know, I got a little stuffy, but not quite. Like I went to sleep at like 9 o'clock a few days, and now I'm just better. Like last night, I couldn't go to sleep. It happens, which means that like today I'm D3 in our format of Wild. And I hit Legend in Standard today too, while prepping for THL. So yeah, that's
Classic cure for insomnia. Wild Hearthstone. Only kind of.
I mean, I also played Standard. I mostly switched to Standard after a bit because I was like, oh yeah, I have to prep for THL. I need to like actually get reps on these decks. Yeah, let's do that. And it seems to have gone well because I started my climb like pretty much last night. It's the 3rd of April today.
Not bad.
So pretty happy with that. About ready to pivot to EU to tie my shoes there as well. So in Standard, I've been playing a lot of, spoiler alert for my lineup. It's due tonight, by the way.
Oh yeah, I got mine in. I'm back.
I know you got yours in. You're good. They were extended a day. This is not going to be a weekly thing that I say, but because of some balance adjustments, which we'll get to later, they were extended.
Indeed.
But so in Standard, I've played Hunter, the like no hand Hunter, which is funny because like sometimes I find myself like with a really, really, really full hand. And sometimes I find myself just like desperately trying to get a hand. But here's the thing. That's what I hit Legend with, was the Hunter. Like even whenever I'm trying to like desperately get a hand, then I get a tracking that, which leads into a confront the Tolvir, and then I win the video game because I've already played all my 1-drops. That's why I have no hand. The 1-drops have already been played. I digress. A lot of Warrior's fun. What are the other ones? Shaman. That's actually what I had on EU. So I've actually been playing Shaman. Started playing Shaman. That's what I was completing Quest with, because I packed Rag, and so I was like, all right.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah.
That was the only card that I was missing before, or not Rag. I packed Rag early on, on EU. So I had been playing Herald Warrior for a long time on EU. From the seasonal rewards, I packed Alakir, and so I was playing Shaman on EU too.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And then a 4th deck that as soon as I remember, I'm going to be like, oh yeah, duh. Not Paladin, surprisingly. I have not been playing the Paladin.
Is there a good Paladin right now in Standard or not really?
It's okay. It's okay. Oh yeah, duh. The other deck that I've been playing has been No Minion Demon Hunter. So you are technically playing Broxigar because, you know, Broxigar goes away and then you have to acquire Broxigar from the spells. Standard does not have our fun tools where we can play like the 3 minions inside the spells.
Yeah.
That's part of, what was the weapon called? That one weapon that we could do that with.
Soul Cleaver Scythe? Is that right?
Makes sense.
Something close to that? It might be Soul Reaver Scythe? I don't know. We're either cleaving or reaving. We're definitely souling.
Yeah, but that's been a lot of fun. That actually was the first one that I was like, yeah, sold. Hence why I was like, oh yeah, what was it? Because I started deciding on my lineup last night. And so I played a lot of Hearthstone. But then today, so while I was doing that yesterday, or earlier on yesterday probably, my in-laws were selling their house because they are officially moving over here. They don't know exactly where yet. So they're visiting us right now, but they, one of the first things they're doing is looking for houses. Like they already have picked out a neighborhood that they really like.
Oh, nice.
And all that good stuff. It's absolutely happening because they sold their house. That's
You can't go back. Closer childcare, is that the hope and the dream? Is that just helping you guys out?
helping us out, and then also being around like the lamb for like so many of these formative years. Like, you know, whenever they so they moved to Oklahoma, and they had like two people that were kind of around, and like they were kind of always on the outs with one of them. And so it's kind of like, well, why don't we just go over there where like we know.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited for that, and it's happening today. They arrived tonight. So on the way home, I picked up some pizza. So if you actually notice later that I'll be eating some pizza, kind of throughout whenever Schmoopydaddy's talking about his week, and then essentially jumped up here and started putting together the show. I'd been putting together the show notes quite a bit before. But yeah, Schmoopydaddy can attest, like the time that we normally are like much more well into it, I was kind of like, just sitting down. So it's been a very fun week with towards the latter half, but holy guacamole, y'all. It was a long week. How was your week, Schmoopydaddy?
I need a vacation for my vacation. So this actually was like the best trip we've ever done. In the spring, we usually try to go, when our spring breaks line up, we usually try to go to Portland, Maine, because that's where my wife and I had our honeymoon. And we initially had our honeymoon there because I wanted to go try all the tasty beer. And it's a town that's like well known for its craft beer scene. And as we've gotten older, it's become less about the craft beer, which we still enjoy, but like, you know, we're in our mid-30s. We don't really need beer that much. And also, like, you know, we just, you know, don't we're not calling Ubers with kids, right? So, but the food's really good too. The food's phenomenal. And so we've got many different spots now. Good food, good beer. And it's a 6-hour car ride, and we've made some harrowing drives, where it's 6 hours and about, 45 minutes in, Schmoopy is done with the car ride and 2 years old and letting you know that he's done with the car ride, and will shriek for, 3.5 hours till he gets tired and passes out. So we've made some rough drives like that, but, this was not one of them. Like the kids were great traveling. I think we timed our stops well. Everybody used the bathroom in a timely manner. Daughter is so good at traveling. Like she's very low maintenance. She's just a little sweetheart. She just gets into her own little head and just putters along in there, all happy and such. And Schmoopy did a much better job of figuring out ways to entertain himself. He was given, like, there's no limit on screen time, so he was swapping around games and stuff, and we were talking a little bit too, and you know, it was a good trip, but it's still a lot. It's still a lot. I made that 6-hour drive back today, so you know, by the end of the day, I was fried. Moving 4 people's worth of stuff out of a hotel into a car, moving the 4 people's stuff out of my car into the house, and like the kids are nuts because the kids haven't been running around at all day, and so like also facilitating that a little bit, also figuring out what the heck they were going to eat. You know how it goes. It's just like, you know, I was done, and about like 8:30, Shmoopy mommy's just like, okay, you're grumpy, I'll take care of bedtime, you go do what you're going to do. And what I decided to do was like, rage climb Asia Legend, because I was like, all right, I've got to try out decks for THL like sheep, and I'm working on getting better at Questline Token DH, which is probably the single hardest deck I've had to try and play in a long time. Like, when you high roll, holy cow, you high roll. But there are a lot of really tough hands to figure out, and watching better players than me, like KVLT or Copper Scum, trying to work them out on the fly, and they have much more experience than I do, even at times, especially KVLT. Watching steam coming out of his ears trying to figure out the best line to work through a turn is quite something. So yeah, so I'm there. I'm back in THL. I'm working on that.
Nice. You know how earlier I was like, oh yeah, been playing standard, and then got bogged down by what standard decks I've been playing. I've also been playing are that their format of Wild. Like I said, I'm.
You did say that.
Yeah, yeah. So I've been playing quite a bit of XL Warlock, the Demon Seed, the quest line. Mm-hmm. And that has been a lot of fun. I've experimented with some of the donkey decks, and I've played some of Schmoopy's decks, and I think for my particular play style, I may cut the I don't know this one's name, the 2-mana 3/2 that gives a minion lifesteal, but at the same time, that's what kept me in
Employee of the Month.
That's it. I knew it was a pun, but I couldn't remember what it was.
Employee of the Month. Yes. That wins you a lot of games, just sticking lifesteal on a giant and watching the aggro deck cry, which is mostly what I use it for, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, okay, so this is actually a good mix of like things that I can talk about, because I like usually about at least part of my week being a little bit about like what I'm doing as far as my content goes, and a little bit of what I did during the week. And I hit Legend at Allagash Brewing Company, if you know Portland, Maine. I hit Legend at Allagash Brewing Company, probably like the most world famous, biggest part of Portland, and they're really a sweet setup, because not only were they awesome to us when my wife and I first went like 10 years ago, and we said, hey, it's our honeymoon, and they were like, kind of unprompted, just gave us a ton of swag. They gave us both a t-shirt, they gave us openers. Like, it was really nice. It was really nice. Like, we got frisbees. Like, it was like, holy crap, all right, this is really cool, awesome. Guys, thanks. And what's also kind of cool about what they do, at least the first time they went, I don't know if they're still doing this. They were, employees were taking tips and donating them to different charities. And also, they basically like grew out of a garage. Like, imagine like just sort of an industrial garage that you just sort of open up, like, but it's a big open space, and they could do their brewing equipment in there. And it was a location called One Industrial Way. And they moved down the street to a location that was right there, but other breweries have continued to go and occupy the space and turn them into breweries. And so they've sort of potted off and inspired other breweries to grow up around that area. And not only that, but they've collaborated with them. They've helped, whole reason, like, yeah, the whole reason like we've gone to some of these places is because like think off the top of my head, Bissell, Austin Street, Foundation. Awesome. We would have never gone to these places if it wasn't for Allagash being so close. So they're really cool about like also collaborating with people that are trying to do the same thing in the same area, and it's just very collegial, which is great, because like kind of like me and my wild decks, I like variety, right? I like many different types of beer. I don't just like one style and I stick with it. So I hit Legend at Allagash. I was playing my version of XL Seedlock, which is literally completely unchanged from like 2 expansions ago. I never added any of the tear stuff in. If anything, I cut 1 card. I initially net decked May and Nefane, who are running an apothecary list, an unlicensed apothecary list, and I cut the pirate that deals damage. Now I'm forgetting what it's called, but I cut the pirate that deals damage to a minion equal to the damage that you took in a turn. And I added a second Plague of Flames, and away I went. very good early of the month deck. Punks on a lot of aggro. If you do queue into slop, you're favored into slop. If you queue into fast combo, try to get down giants early or cry. But what Sheep and I were kind of talking about a little bit, like before we started the pod, which kind of weaves into the content I've been making recently, is I've been doing a lot more of dialing back on the chat decks a little bit. The meta is so fast right now, and it's not like I don't want to ever do chat decks, but I find the chat decks much more frustrating recently because it's just the meta has sort of sped up past where chat is cooking. And especially when we were doing stuff like Egglock, like, facing stuff like Egglock, it was like, all right, I just wasted my time queuing like triple imbue Togwoggle Druid that has no solutions for a board of 2020s. What the hell am I doing now? So what I've decided to do instead is to do a lot of videos based off of, is this bait or is this great? Yeet or tweet. What's good, what's not good. And one of the things that I've done is low sample size, high win rates. Look at HS Guru. What's the highest rated Beast Hunter list on HS Guru? And it's got some like weird card choices. And like sometimes it works out, and sometimes I'm like, man, I really miss my second copy of Serpent Bloom. Wow, look at this cute lock, guys. Look, it's cute lock. And then I play it. I'm like, oh my God, this Raised Dead just got me back 2 1-mana 2/1 spiders. This sucks. So, also like a standard Cliff Dive DH got in there at some point. And like, I was like, you know what? Maybe this will be funny. And then somebody's like, how do you beat 40 card decks? And after 5 games, I gave that thing the boot. So like, I've been enjoying, I'm still, ironically, reviewing terrible decks, but sometimes they're terrible decks that I'm pulling off of HS Guru, and I like to tell people, do not HS Guru and drive, okay? Because just because something looks really good, stats-wise or win rate-wise, or, well, a lot of people are playing this one, it doesn't mean it's the best deck. The best one that came to mind was when people were playing a Reno Druid that cut the Aviana combo because the guy who hit Legend with the deck didn't have Aviana. So he was just drawing the yellow cards and winning. But like, he got a high enough sample size, and a bunch of people also didn't have Aviana. So they got like a high enough sample that the highest sample size, not highest win rate, but the highest sample size Reno Druid on HS Guru was an Aviana-less list. And it's like, guys, we need to critically think about what cards are in our freaking deck for like 2 frickin' seconds. And I want to use other words, but we're trying to keep this a PG pod. So when Sheep is telling me he's trying XL Seedlock and it's got like Starfish, Rats, he's like, well, it started weird. It's got this plate breaker in the ETC. I'm like, why is it running an ETC? I'm trying to find a place to cut a card so that I can add domino effect. And people have room for ETC and Rats and Starfish. Like, what is going on? So that was
luckily the one I was running didn't have Rats. That would have been pretty excessive. But after playing that one for a little bit, I was like, wait, I remember Schmoopy saying that he played this at one point too. And so I found Schmoopy's list and I played that instead. And I'm not sure what I would cut for domino effect.
Filterphobe says it's better Defile, so you could cut Defile. But I'm also a Defile savant, and I can clear a bigger board with Defile than I can Domino Effect. Not always on average. Honestly, if you cut the Apothecaries and that frees up the employee slots, and now you have room for a little bit more removal, you might do Domino Effects. You might do something like, I mean, Hellfire's terrible. But like, if you really hold hatred in your heart, you could always do Hellfire, I guess. Like you could go really clear. I actually
really love Hellfire in the list.
Yeah, yeah,
I really do. That's one of the things I liked about the other one. Which one of the few things.
So like, if you clear out the Apothecary and you clear out the employees, that does free you up to do, a couple other slots for clears.
But I like the Apothecaries.
Yeah, they make getting the Molten Giants down a lot easier, I find. And there's like, you might have a big Apothecary turn that takes you down to like 25, 23, and you're just kind of like, I could use this Hearthstone, or I could not, and get my Moltens down faster. So I don't know. It's one of those decks where I know I must be leveled up as far as a pilot where the deck goes, because it's like, oh, let me queue into this unfavorable. Oh man, this is gonna be tough, and then I win. And then I queue into another unfavorable. I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be tough, and then I win. I'm like, oh man, this matchup sucks too, and I win. And I'm kind of like going through. I'm like, wow, I just beat 3 unfavorables like right in a row. I must be okay at this deck. And I think that's where it is for me. Like, that's where like you've really got a deck down, right? It's like you know your deck better than the opponent, or at least you know a matchup so well that you play towards your outs, and then it's rewarding when you hit them. So I don't know.
I had a ridiculous one today. It was absurd. So it was against a one, I guess not 125 anymore, but 125 warrior. And so they got 100 armor, and then they did it again, and then they played Odin. Meanwhile, I've completed my quest.
Right.
You know, like I've been chipping away like pretty substantially with my oh gosh, the 1 mana card, the
mass production. Thank you.
I'm just mass producing tons, just drawing. And of course, have giants on board. And, you know, whenever they drop
they're out of clears.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They spent their clears, and whenever I was completing my quest and I had all my little things, and you know, they dropped a brawl, they dropped another one. So I think I had like it was either 2 or 3 giants and Tamsin on board for, I can't tell you how many turns. I was playing on mobile. There's no replay to review. And you know, so then they drop Odin. It was pretty low in their deck. I lucked out. Like, you got to have some luck too. Don't get me wrong.
True.
But I was able to drop the 9 mana card that gets cheaper. That has a signature, so I'm not learning the name as easily.
Oh, Imprisoned Horror?
Imprisoned Horror. Yeah.
There you go.
So no. I dropped an imp because I just kept an imp in hand, right? Like I kept it from going away. I mean, you heard my board.
Yes, I was correct. It was Imprisoned Horror. Sorry, it's bugging me.
Thank you. You're good. I dropped the Imprisoned Horror. I dropped the wow. I'm just blanking on names because I know this one. The 1 mana 1/1 that gives everything rush.
Brooms. Go ahead.
Broomstick. Animated broomstick. Yes. Play animated broomstick. Broomstick doesn't attack. Go in with the Imprisoned Horror. Use the 1 mana spell that deals 4 damage. Deal 4 damage to their face, and then just keep
Spirit
shipping
bomb.
face.
Yeah,
the bomb. Yeah. And going face with my minions, and then I just continue to use my mana and my hero power to just continue to just use more and more and more. And I claimed victory. Like,
we take those.
I beat over 200 health with no plate breaker. It was glorious.
You don't need it.
That's one of those like legendary game moments. You know what I mean? You don't need the plate breaker.
You don't. My boss fight was similarly epic. It was a big shaman, which is not an easy matchup for Seedlock. You can get there with like a giant swing, but it's not quite what I did. I made decent quest progress. I made a decent board. I think I had Flesh Giants down by like turn 4. My opponent had a Neptulon on turn 5 via Muckmorpher, and then also and then also proceeded to kill it and make it a 7/7 and clear any progress that I had made. So I'd made some progress, but not great progress. And I obviously can't take 4 fists to the face plus Neptulon with Wind Fury. So I'm like, all right, well, I can either find a Defile clear or I need to find some other answer like Soul Freeze in my deck. I did some digging with Finley, found the first Soul Freeze, froze the Neptulon. Behind that, I could kind of build a little bit of a board. So I was like kind of making like little guys, let's go, little guys, let's go. Cleared off 2 of the hands. So now we're looking at, like, I've got some giants. They've got a frozen Neptulon. That's the sort of Damocles that's going to brain me. See if I can find something somewhere. I can't win in this turn in 2 turns. They get their chance to go again. They once again like buff up the Neptulon. I get a few more giants down. I put like a board that's like super wide, and I actually was able to complete the quest line by like turn 6 doing all of this. Like, I don't know what alchemy I was doing, but I was slinging cards. I was doing mass productions, and I was soul freezing, and I was doing all the things. And it ended with, it culminated with the turn before I won. They reincarnated the Neptulon finally. A bunch of Neptulons popped out. Wind Fury attacks all around. Could kill most of my board, but not all of my board. And I actually ended it with a Tamsin double crystallizer on turn 7 for a nice pyroblast over the top. And I had enough little duders to ship enough damage face that we got there, which was a really cool way to legend, because it was just like, holy crap. Unfavored matchup. Dude got everybody on curve, and we still got there. So that was my end. At the time, I was at Allagash drinking a triple, and I got halfway down there. So there you go. Sheep, that was my week. We had a lot of news.
Yeah, buddy.
Welcome to the news. The news is so good.
And there is a lot of that news. So, you know how I said that it's April 3rd earlier? Yeah, so you know how they do their annual Hearthstone, the Hearthstone team.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you know, they do their annual April Fool's Day patch notes, and we got those once more. And oh my gosh, we usually, for the April Fool's patch notes, we typically do read a little bit more, and we do a lot more of that kind of in-depth. We're going to do that again this year for so many good reasons. Like, I am so happy about all of this. So, 41.4.1.26 patch notes. This completely normal and very real patch includes updates to Hearthstone, Arena, and more. Wink. Hearthstone updates. General updates. Sorry. We apologize for this, but regrettably for today only, we've restored the sorry emote. Based on player feedback, Harold is now Harold, Harold.
Did you get this joke that Donkey made HS Guru, made all the Herald decks Herald, spelled that way, and it's triggering like about half the community?
Yup.
It was triggering about half the community.
I did not know that it was triggering about half the community. That's hilarious. That's really
What are
funny
you doing,
that everyone
man?
is
He's
so
like,
up in arms about that.
It's Harold.
It's Harold. To back up for a moment, I think it's hilarious about the sorry emote because they really did do that in game. The sorry emote
sure did.
was there, and I noticed it and I was like, oh hey, and then I didn't really use it. But there was a different thing there.
I did use it. And I did enjoy it. It was actually in place of hello, which was a little bit disorienting because I was like used to like slamming it for oops. But they've recorded all those sorry emotes in case you roll noggin fogger, so it's nice that that's still there.
Very much so. So, loved that. Okay. Added additional cataclysms to Deathbring Worldbreaker, including overflowing toilet and forgot to cancel the free trial. Cataclysms. All dark gifts now come with the receipt in case you want to return them. Neat. In compliance with the FDA, we will be disclosing the nutritional value of King Maluk's infinite banana. And minions now deal super effective damage to minions they have an elemental advantage against. Can you imagine like having a Pokemon tree thing for the like minion types as well?
Though that is a space that they might. It wouldn't shock me, right? Like it wouldn't shock me if that was a space that they end up eventually exploring, but maybe not yet.
Hear me out. That sounds like quite the twist, doesn't it?
Oh no, don't.
Don't
do it to yourself, sheep.
All you do is you put up all the different types, and then you make the Pokemon one.
Sheep.
And so the elementals, or so the dragons are strong against the elementals. Does that make lore sense? I don't know.
Sure.
People who know lore would tell me, and then I just do that. Would I balance it? Nope, just ship it. Boom. There we go. Done. So when you're super effective against it, it deals double damage, and you can be weak against it, which then they take half damage. So yeah, how about that?
Oh no. Dude, people get upset when you add a keyword that isn't in the actual rotation and standard. What do you mean I have to learn Reborn? What is Reborn? It's just in these little snakes from Kazakhstan. They're not going to remember a frickin' table. They're not about weaknesses. They're gonna.
Of course they're not. And here's the thing, they don't have to. I just want to jam up a dragon deck and then know that I'm playing against elementals, and I've played against those quite a bit because that's meta. And then someone comes out of nowhere with the Naga build, and I don't know, that seems like that would be fun. Card updates. Boulder Fist Ogre is now a colossal minion, and so it's the standard Boulder Fist Ogre, but it's a 6-mana 2/3. And each of the appendages are 1 mana 2/2, so that it all adds up to 6-7, like Boulder Fist.
Yeah, but the mana cost is 8.
Yeah,
presentationally.
Yeah,
it should have been 0 mana.
Agreed.
Personally.
Yeah, for the symmetry, for the symmetry. Mr. Clockwork, old, rewind. Battle cry. Summon 2 random legendary minions. New. Rewind. Rewind. Battle cry. Summon 2 random legendary minions. I may have tossed in an extra rewind in there.
I think there was I think it was +1. But you know what? There's no guarantee we get through Mr. Clockwork's animation after the first 3 rewinds, so why not add another 12?
This is the way. Time Thief Reform. Dev comment. We're giving the people what they want. Time Thief Reform and his tokens have been redesigned as Ba-Farm. This is a visual change only. So Time Thief Reform becomes Time Sheep Ba-Farm.
You must have been so excited for this.
Yes. I'm so happy to be telling you this right now.
New PFP?
It's not just Time Sheep Bafam. It's also Lil Ba Peep Ba Fam. And so that's the 1 mana 1/1 battle cry and death rattle. Draw a Rafam. I'm just gonna say the mana of these because, like, what they do doesn't matter.
Some of these
then
are
there's
funny.
Right, Grazer.
Some of them look like they just
Ba Fam.
slapped the head on there, but some of them they look like they actually spent some time to try and like match it up nicely, and like others it's just like comically bad.
Yeah.
Like, okay, the Calamitous Bafam. That head does not.
We'll
belong
get there.
there. Are we skipping?
We'll
We're going through each
We're
one.
going
All right,
through
we'll go
each of them.
one. Go for it.
So
Go for it.
So then there's Fleecin Bafam. That's the 3 mana one. And then there's Forager Bafam. That's the 4 mana one. Then there's Wool Chief Bafam. It's the 5 mana one. That's the one I think I may make my profile picture is Wool Chief Bafam. Then there's Calamitous Bafam. Okay, I do love that one.
The head's so bad. The head looks terrible. It's just the same old sheep head that they just slapped on top of it. And they're totally okay with that. And you're totally okay with that.
Yes.
I'm totally okay
Yeah.
with that. But it's just, let's call it for what it is.
Yeah. I'm here for the puns and the sheep inclusion. And I'm just happy, man.
Oh, you must be super happy about the 7 mana
am
one.
The Mind Shearer Bafam.
Instead of Mind Flayer or a Fam.
Then instead of Giant Rafam, the 8 mana, it's Enormous Bafam.
I timed out Tom Carter earlier for making an Oklahoma joke, being like, "Oh, sheep lives in Oklahoma."
I very much do not.
I can't time the devs out. I want to, but I would also time them out for some of these puns. This is uncalled for.
And I
All
would
right,
give them a hearty clap on the back. And now, finally, Archmage Rafam. Ramist. See the ram? Archramist? Bafam.
I don't think they went far enough with this one. I thought they could have gone like Arc Ram Uist Bafam, maybe weave in a little bit of a Babe reference, you know what I mean? Like kind of really Ram you. Like they could have gone a little bit further there with the pun. But you know what? All for told, they had to come up with 10 of these, and I think they did a solid job on all 10. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Solid job. A couple of standouts, which we of course highlighted. I do think it's funny that the one that's the kind of most of a stretch is the one that makes all of the things that aren't Rafam's sheep. I think that's great. Mm-hmm. And I think that may have been intentional. Arena updates. New arena mode. Underground arena. Think you've mastered Underground Arena? Great. Now dig deeper. Underground Arena is a hidden mode with intense new rules for players who enjoy suffering crossed out a challenge. Unlocking requirements. Retire a run at 11 wins.
No.
I saw someone, the streamer that someone posted it to Reddit, posted someone who got debated by this. And yeah. Once unlocked, enter the new mode by clicking on a 10 by 10 pixel sized button that appears somewhere on the arena menu screen.
Oh, no.
You see how far they got. They could not find aforementioned button. They were very mad. New gameplay features. Every card you play shortens your run timer by 5 seconds. Can you imagine trying to play an APM deck where every card you play shortens your turn timer by 5 seconds?
Dude, for some people, that's like a yes.
I know.
Do that.
Yeah, that's a challenge.
Exact thing.
That's a can you imagine? That's not a like. That sounds like a rush.
That sounds like a balance. That sounds like a balancing decision.
One random card in your deck is upside down. How to win. Achieve a 24-game win streak. One loss will end your run, revoke your access, reset the unlock requirements, and hide the button again. Rewards.
Man, unlucky.
New Ways Ulfar skin. And it's I mean, I'm guessing that's a druid because they're
It's like a dwarf druid.
yeah, because they're what looks like the like druid like horn things, and then there's a lot of the like emerald dream like magic, like the green magic all around him, and so and he's holding a phone with the Hearthstone logo on it is what they want you to focus on.
Indeed,
And some
and some
kicking
shades.
rad shades.
Some sharp-looking shades.
Bug fixes and game improvements. Chromatus has been disabled after the greenhead filed for separation. Please respect Chromatus's privacy at this time. Fixed a bug where
Unlucky.
misplaced Pyromancer didn't work with the card Shatter. Dev comment. Seriously, try it out. I didn't know that was a thing.
No.
Fixed a bug where rewind would occasionally give you the result you actually wanted. Sent remnant of rage to anger management. Yeah,
They might
right.
have to do that some more.
And finally, performed a memory wipe on all mech cards that were exhibiting early signs of starting a robot uprising again. Yeah, the again is what made it for me.
Those were good.
So-
Those were good. I didn't. You know what? This is my first time digesting these. I have ingested these in the past. The April Fool's patch notes. My favorite story that I like to tell is that Ben Brode also loved doing an April Fool's joke. He really wanted to give every Hearthstone player like 1 gold or something like that. But it was nixed because it was too cruel and unusual. Or maybe they did do it, but then they like gave people like 4 gold immediately afterwards to make it divisible by 5. It was something like incredibly tilting for anybody who liked to really like round numbers.
They did something pretty similar as well with the rewards, with the achievements, with the annoying one for
that. Like you died by a Manoiotron.
killing someone with a Manoiotron.
Yes. And people were like, "Why? No, you've cursed me with this thing. I've died to an Manoiotron." Mech Paladin was good then.
It was.
He was.
And yet I did not die to an Annoyotron then. I completed it then.
Right.
I wish I could remember where that was. I think that subsequent to that, I have been defeated by an Annoyotron. But it was like years later because, you know, Hearthstone's been around for 12 years now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Moving on. That was a late April Fool's joke to all of us. Moving on then to the 35.0.3 patch notes. There were, of course, the red and green circle day before. We are not going to disregard red and green circle day. That happened on the 31st.
They did it
Circle
before
Day's
April
important.
Fools.
They did.
They wanted to get it in before. Be like, guys, no, this is real.
Don't worry. This part?
No, this is real. Very relevant.
So, of course, there are some standard and wild card changes. Before we go to start with the wild card changes, reading the dev comment contextualizes things. We've skipped it numerous times and then come back and read it and been like, oh yeah, a number of things that we talked about. So we're going to read it at the start. We learn. Dev comment. Well met. With Cataclysm now live and Standard freshly rotated, we've been closely watching the new Standard environment take shape as you experiment with a wide range of decks and strategies. With the meta still evolving, this patch focuses on reining in a few clear outliers and giving a small boost to some budding archetypes. As always, we will be keeping a close eye on how these changes land and look forward to seeing how the playing field continues to develop. I can read. So we're going to skip down to the wild card changes first.
Okay.
This is
Do we want to talk about
they're
Wildwood Circle?
podcasts.
Because I know it's not wild, but
We'll double back and just say what the standard ones are and talk about any wild actual ramifications. But we're going to start
Fine
with
by
the
me.
wild specific.
Okay.
Because definitely Wildwood Circle's one we're going to talk about. So, the wild specific are, beginning with Lightspeed. Old, give a minion +1/+2 in rush, repeatable this turn. They changed it to Echo, give a minion +1/+2 in rush. Dev comment, we are updating Lightspeed to use Echo to present zero cost interaction and abusive play patterns. They just said, goodbye Nazmani Priest.
kind of. Kind of. If you are Dreadshot 1, you never switched over to like the Lightspeed Boar one anyway. You were still playing your, I want to play my sister Sylvana, which is pretty funny because like I remember Donkey kind of wandering into Discord one time and kind of looking around being like, hey guys, because there were three different types, three very specific types of Radiant Elemental Miracle Priest at the time. There was the Miracle Priest, which was just like, oh, we're doing Bless and Inner Fire stuff. There was the Sister Sylvana version that had basically Sister Sylvana as like the big one. And then there was another version that was Potion Inner Fire that was like using Radiant Elemental, but like it wasn't providing a minion to do any of the knockout stuff. It was grabbing one and then knocking out the person. And so like, we're explaining like, no. So like the Sister Sylvana version, that's like Sister Priest. And then you've got like this over here and this over here. And Donkey's like, so you want me to name this version of the deck after the statistically worst card in the deck? And we're like, yes, that's exactly what we're asking you to do. This is the version that Maxie really likes to play. A bunch of people also play it. No, it's not the best way to play the deck, but yeah, that's just like that's what's happening. It's like, all right, whatever, screw it, screw you guys too. I think he did switch up the labels a little bit, but I tried to like, I remember being in there and just like giggling. So like, if you weren't a fan of Lightspeed, which I wasn't, you can make an argument that Radiant Elemental was nuked because of this card's poor design. Not necessarily of Radiant Elemental's crimes, which were numerous, and not without some reason. But this was really a punch to the gut for a lot. This card coming out was a punch to the gut for a lot of wild players because we really enjoyed Radiant Elemental. It was degenerate, but it was like kind of a fun degenerate. And here we are now with this spell that very clearly is ignoring the existence of Radiant Elemental and should have probably been printed with Echo from the start. But God forbid that standard players need to learn an old keyword to play the game. It might be too confusing for them. And they may not know what to do when the card returns back to hand. I don't know. This card's existence has annoyed the crap out of me for over 2 years now. So like, I don't know. Wild had bad blood with this thing, and finally it's gone.
I feel like if Lightspeed had come out during Whizbang's workshop, that it would have had Echo. But since it came out in the Great Dark Beyond, it didn't, because like Whizbang's was very much like a callback to this, a callback to that. I loved Whizbang's workshop. I think before it was nerfed out of recognition, that was a lot of fun. That was one of the times I was playing Standard the most. I'm really enjoying Standard right now too, post nerfs. So take that for. I don't know how people feel about Standard.
I like the theory. I just don't think they ever want to introduce a standalone random keyword from a previous expansion when they're very specific about like no, we don't do evergreen keywords except when we do evergreen keywords. So like Colossal, which was like, I honestly have no problem with any keyword I think being evergreen. I have no problem with them bringing back old mechanics to do new things and new fun ways and like designed around new cards as well, so that it doesn't feel bad when we never get soul shards ever again and we have these dated soul shard cards, right? Like I like that. I think that'd be a positive thing.
Agreed.
But it might be too confusing for HS players and their tiny brains, which I also totally get as a stance because I play Wild.
Yeah, and one card having a keyword that people haven't ever seen before, I can kind of get that throwing people off. But it would have been kind of cool if it had just been temporarily banned. Since they were gonna nuke it anyway. That said, can't do anything about the past. They've now nuked it. Goodbye and good riddance, Lightspeed.
When do we get corrupt on Saladrisil?
Saladrisil had corrupt always.
No, but it doesn't have the keyword corrupt. It just has the property of corrupt.
Oh yeah,
without the
right.
keyword corrupt, which is another.
You were right.
Which is also triggering for people.
That is correct. You were right. It doesn't have the official keyword. I am just so used to going, oh, is it corrupted? Because that's the mechanic.
Don't play it with N'Zoth. Don't play it with N'Zoth. Not the new one. No. Wait, which one am I talking about? You know which one.
Yeah, N'Zoth. It's not the newest one, but I call it N'Zoth still.
No, not N'Zoth. The other one. The one that...
the Dark Moon Races one?
Dark Moon Fair, and it's the guy who gets you copies of cards you've corrupted. Whichever one that one was. It was the one that the big shaman used to play, and then this was the new version, and it was terrible, and nobody used it ever again. Well, except they did in Standard a little bit.
I thought that was N'Zoth, but was that Yasharj?
No, because N'Zoth was the new Menagerie one. We got Menagerie new.
That's right.
Yashara.
It was Yasharj.
However you want to come. There you go. New corrupt Yashara. Doesn't work with that one. I'm sorry for derailing us.
Astral Communion also got hit. So, old 4 mana, new 5 mana. Dev comment. Astral Communion is receiving a light adjustment to slow down a ramp strategy that has grown more consistent over time, while still preserving its identity as a fun and iconic druid deck. And I've played against a few Astral Communion druids since the nerfs, and they did well. I was playing predominantly on mobile because that's how I play. And so I don't know stats, but it felt about like 50-50, right? Like played 4 or 5 of them last night, a couple of them today, like 50-50-ish. So I think that exactly what the dev comment stated, what the intention was there, feels like it was achieved, right? Like it's nudged down, it's slowed down a little bit, but it's not like, you can't do this anymore. They didn't light speed it.
It's no longer consistent for the opponent to cast Astral Communion on turn 1 or turn 0. Yes, you can go first and cast Astral Communion before this was nerfed. I think that this is like the perfect nudge. Again, we never really want to kill decks unless they really have a good reason to be dead. We would much rather just sort of nudge decks so that they are not the place we want them to be. And Astral Communion is always sort of supposed to be big, fun Timmy deck. It's not supposed to be this competitive mid-tier 2 absolute stat bomb where if you're not careful, you will lose to Astral Communion. If I see Astral Communion as a seed lock, I'm actually quaking in my boots because that feels like an unfavored matchup for the seed lock, especially if Astral Communion comes down on like turn 2 or turn 3. And I'm dealing with a carrier the next turn, like threat after threat after threat. I'm equipped to deal with some threats and then 1 or 2 waves and then take the board myself, but I can't do that against Astral Communion. You just start eating it turn after turn after turn. So yeah, deck not dead. Hey, I'm seeing a thread.
Right? Love to see that. And finally, for the wild specific nerfs, we have Grand Magister Romath. Old Battlecry, recast each spell you've cast this game that didn't start in your deck. New Battlecry, recast each spell you've cast this game that didn't start in your deck. Once per game. Dev comment, Grand Magister Romath is being limited to once per game to address a highly repetitive and frustrating play pattern that we do not want to be defining part of the format. Is Hostage Mage dead, Mr. Daddy?
The looping Romath version, yes. The shell that made it what it was and made it so competitive that you could stall and oftentimes win before Romath. Like, I don't know what deck beats Frost Nova, Rewind Frost Nova, Varden, Bob, Potion of Illusion, Varden, Bob, Rewind, second Potion of Illusion, Varden, Bob. Oh, they're dead. If you have a deck off the top of your head that beats that, I don't know what. Alibi and Armor Gain are also another frustrating part of this. I asked OTZ once. I was like, how would you nerf Hostage Mage if you were to nerf Hostage Mage? And her thought was well, maybe you do Potion of Illusion. Maybe you make it only a rogue spell. Maybe you bump it up to 5 mana. It's just, there's so many problems with mage survivability that, okay, does this version die? Yes. Will Hostage and or Control Mage be dead in the format? No. And if that's what you're expecting this nerf to be, you're going to be severely disappointed. Because I saw a lot of people sort of prematurely spiking the football and throwing their hands up and be like, ha-ha! And let's say they did this. Let's say they went for broke. Let's say they did this and they made, Ice Block, give all your minions +1 charge, right? It's just something crazy. It still wouldn't solve the problem.
If it gave all of your minions +1 and charge, that would be great. Just very, very different. I know what you mean, charge minions, but that would be incredible.
Provided by Nova and Alibi and Armor Gain with Alibi and just Armor Gain and Mage in general. It's just, there's going to be a Control Mage. It's what do we do next? Things I've seen floated around using the new shell. Hero Power. Just straight up Hero Power. Not Imbue. That looks terrible. But actual, let's ramp up Varden's Hero Power and just win with that. Which was a line that Hostage Mage used to use.
I think I played against one of those today. I won as the the seed lock because I was able to get through the tons of armor even with the protect bead spell. Yes, a solid alibi. Even with that, just mass production. Even though they're only doing one,
It's also cutting into their turn timer, which is messed up, but ends up happening sometimes.
I don't think so. At least I wasn't trying to. I was just trying to.
No, I know you weren't trying to. I'm just saying sometimes.
But it'd be funny if I was.
Protoss, Unironically, Protoss could find
Wow.
like you just a limited package. You throw Bran, you throw in the big goobers, a couple of spells. You repeat the shield battery more times in this format than you can in standard.
A lot more.
You can get there with that as a possibility. I saw some people trying out the Discover OTK quest with Talon and Tony and Thad and the boys, cracking a cold one, throwing fireballs face. You just need to stall until 10 mana for that one and get the weapon up, and then you can ETC pick Thaddeus, and then you are guaranteed to have 0 mana fireballs as long as you have a spell that you can cast at 10 mana. Not that hard to do. Like, those conditions are not hard to meet. Getting enough discovers maybe, but even then, not really.
Not over the course of the game, like especially with your rewinds and like the things that the deck just already runs at its core that are discovering. Yeah, I'm sure that there are a couple of other cards that were added to, add to that, like Orb, right?
Sure.
Or not Orb, the 2 mana one that deals 2 damage. And,
oh,
am
that
I
one,
describing
yeah.
Orb?
Yes. Something Orby. It's Orb adjacent. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. Like I said, I've played against it. I won. I think that I won because they just kept on keeping my board frozen rather than buffing up their Varden hero power. And so I won the video game.
Yeah.
Because I was able to just keep on going. But it was a long game, man. I'm glad I got that star.
You can also get there possibly doing a big spell version of the deck. Like, we've been already having success with Reno Big Spell and occasionally Big Spell. What if instead of playing a bunch of crappy cards when we play Big Spell Mage, what if we played like the normal Hostage Mage shell, which we know is good, and then stall until you have enough mana to actually play the frickin' spells? Genius idea, I know. The low-hanging fruit in all of this that I haven't even mentioned because I was just talking about like decks we could do with the same shell is Galactic Projection Orb, replaying spells, recast it with Parrots, make your only 4 mana spell Potion of Illusion, maybe you spent a coin, go mana neutral with the Parrot, play it again, play it again, play it again. It's a little bit more. The reason why I'm mentioning it last, even though that's immediately where every Redditor goes, well, now we just do Parrots and Orbs. It's a completely different deck. It takes a different package. No volume up is a big deal. Do we go with the Rogue package? Do we not go with the Rogue package? Do we have to cut down on our 3s? Because you ideally want like Frost Nova, Alibi, and Block.
Right.
And oh, by the way, the opponent's not dead yet either. Like, you need to, like, typically you win with that version by like plinking them down with like little parrots with Galactic Projection Orb, freezing all their stuff, and like hopefully you get enough parrots back. But that can take a long time, especially if your opponent has like a big board of taunts. So like I don't know, it's kind of goofy.
And of course, if your 9-drop is like an 8-drop or like Yogg in a Box, and the other one that's like Yogg in a Box but 9 mana, like
things can get a little silly. Yeah, things can get a little silly. But just the approach is not dead. So if people are expecting to never be taken hostage by a mage again, and this heralds that, no, you're going to get taken hostage again. And it's probably going to be by me. Tom is also pointing out, weirdest enough, Tom is also pointing out that like you can do Hostage Rogue and you can do Hostage Shaman already. And Hostage Shaman is way older than Hostage Mage. It's also it's also not as good. Not nearly as good. Not like best deck in the format as good. Sorry, what were you going to say, Sheep?
It gets me excited to try out different builds, because essentially the Control Mage deck was decided, and you know, every once in a while like someone would get like a crazy hair and, you know, put something else in, and it, you know, but
Protoss
the
was
whole
playable,
shell
by the
was
way.
pretty-
I played a fair amount of Protoss Hostage Mage. Protoss Hostage Mage was actually like fairly playable. It was worse Hostage Mage, but like now it's like, well, we don't have the best Hostage Mage anymore. We got to go next man up. That might be Protoss, like unironically.
Is worse Hostage Mage just okay? Now it's Hostage
Now
Mage,
it's hostage. Right. Though that does. That finishes with a combo finish, Mr. Sheep. So it's not a true hostage thing. Dunk some nerd in a dumpster.
But Hostage Mage had one too with the light show, so it was yeah.
It's don't go down that rabbit hole. There is no bottom.
Nope. But like, I want to do some of those hero power shenanigans. I mean, if I'm running a control mage, I can afford to put like more Dreshen, right? Is that going to be the best version of the deck? No. Is it going to be playable? I mean, I think so. Like, seems fine.
Not that long ago, I'll let you in on a secret. Don't tell anyone, Sheep, okay?
Oh, okay.
Not that long ago, the data suggested you should run more Dreshen and Imbu Mage, but nobody was doing it.
That makes so much sense.
He actually looked really good in that deck, and people were doing it, but not enough people. Most people were wasting their time running secrets. Yeah, no, Mordresh was the nuts. But don't tell that to Imbu Mage players.
The only thing that doesn't make sense about that as an Imbu Mage player is 8 mana.
Yeah, it's just when he hit the board, it was over. Like that was it.
But at 7 mana, Sing Along Buddy and the Reckless Apprentice.
I don't know what
also...
to tell you. It was just like it was like that big board swing. People
but it's
weren't
redundancy.
Accepting. Yeah, I don't know.
You're getting it. Yeah, it makes sense.
And it's online. The thing about like that people get wrong about Imbu Mage. They say, "Oh, you can never fight for board with Imbu Mage." That's complete garbage. If you're never fighting for board against Imbu Mage, that's why you're losing to Imbu Mage, right? Like you have to get them with tempo early before they ramp up their hero power. And I'm going to make a joke guide on how to play Imbu Mage in the very near future. And I'm gonna do the serious part. We're gonna put the list together using data, right? We have a ton of data now. And Imbu Mage has been around forever. Let's look back as far as we can. Let's look at what we can see. And then it's like, okay, Mulligan guide. Find your Imbu cards that cost 2 or less. Play those. Keep going. Play them every game. Because the Imbu Mage, when it doesn't get its hero power ramped up, is very, very manageable. But let's say you're struggling to ramp up your hero power, but you're using it every turn. You're still dealing damage every turn. It's a lot easier to get Mordresh online by turn 8 for those slow starts. So like I can kind of see it. I know 8 mana. You're like, this is crazy. Why would this be any good? For whatever reason, it was just closing out games.
No, it does make sense.
3rd Reckless Apprentice. Is that another way to think about it? Third Reckless Apprentice?
That's another way to think about it. Absolutely. Yeah. It's long established that I'm primarily an aggressive player, right? But we talked about how I'm excited to play around with these control decks, about how I've been playing like Seed Lock, all those kinds of things, right? To me, if you're ever coming across a deck and you're like, I cannot beat that deck. How do I beat that deck? Learn how to play the deck, because then you find out what your opponents are doing who know how to beat the deck. You know what your win condition is, you know what you're trying to do, and you see how they counter it, and then you know how to beat that deck, right? It's kind of like just have all the cards kind of a statement, but at the same time, if you have the cards, it's absolutely something that I recommend.
Now, Sheep, right? This doesn't work. So you see, anything that I lose to, anything that beats me consistently is morally wrong. And I would never be caught playing a morally wrong deck. Because your approach requires me to have an open mindset and grow as a player and improve. And I don't want to do that. I want to write a snarky Reddit article, okay, about how I am superior and better than you because of my deck choices.
Fair enough. I don't do a whole lot with like data and stuff anymore. Like in Wild, like I'll pull stuff for the standard more for just THL. But I'm very much a like, okay, I know where to go for deck lists. Like I said, pulled a donkey list, right? I pulled your list. These are two of the prime places that I go. But to me, so much of Hearthstone, and I love where we've gotten to this place as kind of like a wild community, is like playing the deck, seeing what you like, seeing what you don't like, and seeing what works and doesn't. Like the reason why I abandoned the HS Guru list and found yours was because I was like, wait, why am I like, I can kind of understand running these things in the ETC, but like, whenever I was playing Seedlock before, I didn't have room for an ETC. Right. And I didn't have room for another Starfish. And I didn't have room for, I can't remember what else it was. It wasn't rats, but like, there were a number of things, and it's just kind of like, I know that Schmoopy, if he's going to put a list out there, like, is at least like giving it his pass. We may disagree on some things, and that's okay, sure. But like, I know that at the very least, like, it's not going to have some of these things that I see as those kind of like cardinal, like competitive type of deck building sense. Now, if you're playing a more control heavy deck, if you're playing like a more tech W shaman, like Shutterwalk shaman, like that's one thing, right? But Seedlock is a very, I want to advance my own game plan. Like I want the consistency there so that I'm not drawing duds, right? So that my Cursed Catacombs isn't pulling nothing. All to say, I took the list, didn't look at it, sleeved it up, and then through playing it, that experience playing against something, because I've been playing against a lot of XL Seedlocks, and I had a very hard time beating them. And now playing as the XL Seedlock, I've had a hard time losing because I'm a tenacious who stays in 125 warrior games.
God, yeah.
After they've gotten over 200 armor.
More than this. Like, oh man, I don't. Let's go.
I really don't. I'm gonna see if I can win it, and I did. But I just think that it's so much fun that we've gotten to a place in Wild where there are so many of those like core archetypes, and we can experiment with some of these different things, and it's exciting. So, goodbye, Grand Magister Romath. Mm-hmm.
Or
long live Hostage Mage.
Is he the worst top end in a deck that plays a bunch of random stuff? Or a deck that does repeat your tools? Like, is he the worst card you could run in a Hostage Mage if he's 9 mana by 1 turn, but you can curate which spells he's repeating? I'm just putting this out there. Like, maybe like you might sniff in an arena list.
Seems fine. Yeah. An arena list,
right?
An arena list, I think is the right spot for that.
You might still
an arena list, absolutely.
So like he might not even be done.
It wouldn't be the top end. Oh no, Reno's not 10 mana anymore. He would still be the top end.
He might not. He might not. He might still see play. That's the crazy thing. It's like I could see. Listen, I see everybody dropping him now, but we can save the tape. Doesn't shock. If you come back and you're like 3 months from now, you're like, Schmoopy, they started playing Romath again. I'd be like, yeah, man, I don't know. That's what China's doing. Like, it wouldn't shock me.
Mm-hmm. But for now, we open up for experimentation, which is what I'm excited about. I'm also excited about standard nerfs because I've been playing standard too. So starting with Hamul Rune Totem. At the start of the game, if each spell in your deck is nature, imbue your hero power. Repeat this every 2 spells you cast. New, everything's the same except for it's every 3 spells you cast. And I called this like weeks ago, like right the Friday after expansion, right?
I know.
I called this exact nerf. Oh. Speaking of people who called things, Crystal Spine Cub. Old, 1 mana, 1/2. New, 1 mana, 1/1. Was and is a beast. Whenever you spend your last mana crystal, gain +1/+1. And you called this one, Schmoopydady.
I did?
Did you? I thought you did.
Oh, yeah, probably. I mean, there are some degenerate openers. Like, you could just tell. Like, look at the card, man. Like, you just tell there are going to be some degenerate openers.
I was playing standard, and there were a couple times when I had like Cub, Coin, 1-drop, Innervate, 1-drop, and I had a 3/4 and like 2 1/1s from the Living Roots, and I don't know, maybe 2 more whatever other 1-drop I did, but like I won those games.
Yeah.
Those non-games make sense. Getting rid of the Cub.
Yep.
Wildwood Circle. Old 3 mana, new 4 mana. This one has a specific dev comment appended to it, which reads, in standard, Druid has stood out in both popularity and power, and has been warping the meta. To address that, we are taking a more comprehensive approach by adjusting several key cards. These changes are aimed at toning down Druid's ability to dominate both the early and late game. So, Schmoopy, I think if there's one person who's played more Treant Druid than me, it's you. So tell me about Wildwood Circle.
Dude, I did not like the list with Wildwood Circle in there, and I know for a fact that I am wrong for feeling that way, and that this is the Stone Cold Nuts. This is one of the 3 best cards you could get in the Mulligan to start, along with like Beanstalk and Aeroponics. Like, it was up there, especially because, you know, you get a couple of cheap spells right in between it, and you don't throw those away, and then you can get this together very quickly. Sometimes even with a what's it called? A&R's gift? Something's gift. One of the dryads. Reducing both halves by 1 minus 1 put together is -2. So you're casting Wildwood Circle for 1 mana, which was gross. I didn't like the deck with it in there.
And if you had a full hand, then oh no, you're casting it for 2, 1 and 1.
Yeah. I never liked it as a card. I didn't like the feel of the deck with it in it. So I'm kind of happy, low-key, that it's gone. I'm not even sure that it's gone. I think the deck, like, 4... I thought 3 was too much mana.
I did too.
I think 4 is too much mana. I think working for it, though, is even the 4-mana Shatter cards, the ones that are good, like the Paladin one, looks great in Wild because it's so easy to combine the 2 halves. So if there's anything working for it, is it's in a deck where it wants to be there, and there's a bunch of 0 drops, and it's real easy to like just let her rip. Wouldn't shock me if it still sticks around. Like, I just like just continuing the theme. It's nice that they're not killing cards with this patch. They're just nudging them, and they still might be playable even in the current form. Like, it was so good in Treant Druid, it'd be shocking to me if it was like so completely gone entirely from every version.
I thought I was going to have that hot take.
Sorry.
Because you know how I said I couldn't sleep last night? So, you know, I like laid down at around 11 o'clock, and it was about midnight, 1:30 before I was like, okay, yeah, I'm just like wide awake. Like, I'm just going to play Hearthstone. And this was post Nerfs. Where I started was Wild Treant Druid. And I just took the list that I had, which was the Wildwood Circle list, and I just jammed it. Yeah. And wouldn't you know it, it didn't feel good, but the Wildwood Circle kind of loop, but like it still did perfectly fine. Clear your stuff.
You're still inspiring people to play Godfrey against you, for God's sakes. Like, you know, like you're still creating those boards where it's just hard to remove, and anything that you do remove just makes your cultivation cheaper. It's just, you know, really punishing card to the opponent.
So I think you're right, and I thought I was going to have that hot take. I'm not the spicy one. No. Skywall Sentinel. Old used to be a 0/3. Now it's a 0/2. This is a Herald Shaman card, and I don't think that I've seen this in our format.
Really?
But
no. Oh, in our format?
Really?
No. I mean, I think Martian Boo was trying to do it. There is a neat little like synergy between Herald and Galakron. So like for some nostalgia stake, you can do those two together, and you're getting rushers that also get extra attack. So that can be kind of fun. This card felt very good in Arena, though. I played a lot of this in Arena, and having a 2-mana 1/3 taunt that's protecting the thing that's buffing its attack, very nasty card.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I can see this being like OP in Arena, like just insta draft. Even if you don't get any other Herald cards, you will, because you know the rate is increased. But it's a 2-mana 1 was 1/3, still 1/2. Still seems fine in standard as well. Moving on then to Flight of the Firehawk. Old, draw 2 minions of different minion types, give them +2/+2. New, the same thing, except it only gives them +1/+1. It is a 3-mana Shaman fire spell. Dev comment. Shaman has also proven to be a strong presence, though not to the same degree as Druid. Here, we are taking a lighter touch by shaving some power off of a couple cards to keep the class in line as the meta continues to evolve.
I was terrified they were going to somehow touch the mana cost of Flight of the Firehawk, because right now where it's at, it is perfect for my Frog Shaman. Okay, it is perfect for Frog Shaman. I think Purs and myself and Tulio have been just sort of like tweaking away at it, and then Purs added Earth Shocks, and I don't think I like the Earth Shocks, but like I really like keeping the reincarnates in with the Ethereal Oracles, and the whole reason why we want Ethereal Oracles and Finley and not anything else with a minion type is because Flight of the Firehawk always draws you either double Frog or Frog Finley or Frog Radiance of Ashara. And with that in mind, changing the minion types, or increasing this to 4 mana so that you don't have your right, just knocking in any direction like that would make me super sad. The stats mean nothing in Frog Shaman. We poo-poo the stats. It's tutoring the specific minions that's super important to us. So like I love this nerf because it means I don't have to cry because one of my favorite hipster decks dies.
And Shaman's one of the decks that I've been practicing since the nerfs for THL. I still run both of these cards in that deck. I didn't think I was still going to run Flight of the Firehawk. I played it. It's not as good, but you're still drawing 2 and buffing them. And the deck predominantly runs cheap minions, especially the ones with minion types. So like, yeah, makes sense. Moving on then to Gladiatorial Combat. Used to be 5 mana, now it's 6 mana. Dev comment. For Gladiatorial Combat, this adjustment is less about raw power and more about play pattern. While it has not been a major power outlier yet, we want to proactively curb a style of gameplay that can become frustrating when it ramps into large threats too quickly. So the text on it, which was not hit, and so I didn't read it before, reads, summon a random minion from your deck, sounds like Recruit, summon a 5/5 tiger with stealth for your opponent.
We're not bitter.
So, not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit.
So what these were doing was they were playing Gladiatorial Combat and having either Tortilla or Yasandra as like the minions. I think there was like another like 1 or 2 in there, but like the Great Jackarex what was another one, right? But so they had these big ones and they were just getting them out, but then they also had the location that made the eggs, and at 5 mana it was happening pretty quick. And now that's happening just a little bit slower. and that's good.
Yeah, good. No blowouts. Fewer blowouts.
Well, there were also some buffs, and so we don't really need to talk about the impacts of these because we don't know yet. Maniacal Follower, that was a 3 mana, was 3, now is 4. 1 rogue minion with stealth and death rattle, Herald Sinestra. So was buffed from a 3/1 to a 4/1.
Good buff, because now I can see a reason to actually play this in Constructed, whereas like I didn't feel 100% happy playing it in Arena for 3 mana. 3 mana 4/1 that's guaranteed to hit face. All right, yeah. You can sell me on that. 3 mana 3/1 that's guaranteed to hit face on turn 3? Are you sure? I don't know.
Well, in Standard, if you're playing against a Demon Hunter, definitely not guaranteed to hit face, because they can do the 1 mana AoE that then for every one, everything that it kills, they draw a card. Oh man, that card's good. Obsessive Technician. 4 mana, Lifesteal, Battlecry, Herald, Onyxia. Used to be a 2/5, was buffed up to a 3/5. I've played against this and I did not notice.
Yeah, another one of those cards that I think is better in Arena than in Constructed. I love playing bad DH decks, especially bad control DH decks, especially the Double Blood Unholy deck that I haven't crafted yet, that I will cook on stream at some point. That will be bad, and I'm going to do it, and you can't stop me. This is a good buff for that.
The Demon Hunter, Death Knight got, and Herald's Death Knight in particular, got a big buff with the change to the way that Onyxia works, which we'll get to later. So I have seen Obsessive Technician quite a few times, but like they always had so much health, it didn't matter how much they were life stealing.
I don't know. Like, that's the kind of help that the deck would need if it's going to be okay in Wild. Is like, all right, let me throw this absolute unignorable annoyance on the board. Oh, let me throw it a second time. Oh, it's also bringing in extra tempo with the Herald mechanic. Like, I'm shocked that DK Herald hasn't done better in Wild, if only because it's like, well, let's just like print free tempo at the cost of our health. What successful Wild Hearthstone deck has ever done that before?
So much. Yeah.
Right?
It screams Wild enjoys this. Wild plays this. Do it now.
And it's not really what's happened with it. I think it's because, like, you know, number one, we have a lot of unexplored space in Wild right now. It feels like fewer and fewer people have played the format and really like scoped it out entirely. I don't know if that's because like some of the better deck builders have sort of like faded away in recent years and like new ones are still sort of coming up and figuring it out, or if it's just like a lot drop in popularity or what. But it just, I don't know. It feels like we've got that at least that part has potential with enough cooking to be not real, but like, hey, look, there's a tier 3 deck that we can make that does Herald Blood Decay stuff. Beats the piss out of aggro. Don't play it into control. You can kind of aggro them down sometimes. Combo we won't talk about. That's why the razor scales are there. Like, you know, I feel like there's something there.
That's why the razor scales.
But nobody's really exploring it, and so it's like it's just there. But
and this seems like a nudge to a already kind of adjacently good card that. Kind of like they were doing before. Moonwell. Old, 7 mana. New, 6 mana. This is a priest spell that reads, deal 4 damage to all enemy characters. Restore 4 health to all friendly characters. At 7 mana, I pretty much never saw this. At 6 mana plus rotation, I've seen a decent amount of this, actually. Control Priest seems kind of real, and Moonwell is kind of a piece of that. The quest line is the real piece of that in Standard.
I loved it at 7 in Arena. I really love it at 6. I'll draft multiple copies of it. Like at 7, you're like, I don't know if I'm going to have enough mana to do that. This is freaking 6 mana Flame Strike. What is like OG Flame Strike? And it's better because it actually heals you on the other side too. It's a good
and
card.
not just you, but all of your minions.
Like this thing's kind of silly. It's funny that they buffed this in order for this to be okay with Modern Constructed. There's like a Jordan MG video in there someplace. Or the guy who does PowerPoints. But yeah, no, like this is great at 6. And listen, it doesn't have a spell school. It's not Shadow. It's not fitting into Equilibrium Priest. It's not fitting into Shadow Priest, XL Shadow Priest, your typical ways to do Reno Priest or aggro. Oh, I'm gonna bump my mic, sorry. But you might see it in like somebody's being spicy and still seeking guidance out there someplace. This is a decent 6-drop to play alongside 6. Reno. Instead of Skulking Geist, you can cut the Skulking Geist. Put Moonwell in, please, for all our sakes. This is me talking to you, chat. Help me out here. But this would be an okay 6, I think, alongside that, and that deck is very hard to build. But that doesn't care about a spell school, and this is a good card. I don't know. I think this would definitely have seen a lot of wild play maybe 3 years ago. I think it can still see play now, especially if we are still exploring like an overheal type priest too. This might be like a silly thing you think about your top end where it's just like, yeah, but if I stick all my stuff, I don't know.
Yeah. Or there becomes some kind of like priest mana cheat. Don't speak it into the world, sheep. Don't speak it into the world.
Yeah.
Priest also got another buff to the Black Blood. It used to be 4/8. Now it's a 5/9. That's a colossal minion. 7 mana. After you restore health to a character, attack a random enemy minion. And Black Blood's body. They all used to be 3 mana 1/2s. Now, even though you don't pay mana for them, they did alter the mana on this one to 2 mana 2/2s. So they're cheaper, but they increase the attack. I have not seen the Black Blood once, and I've run into multiple control priests, and even they're typically also imbue, and even if they got this as an option, they
probably picked the other one. Yeah. So I'll say this for Priest Colossals. Priest Colossals have been buffed once to relevancy. If you remember, the Behemoth used to be 8 mana and was buffed to 7, and it suddenly became wild competitive. I don't foresee the same fortune to happen with this card, but it'd be funny if it happened twice.
Wouldn't it? So, the dev comment. On the buff side, we've seen some excitement around building decks with these cards, so we're giving them a small boost to help realize their potential.
Good luck.
And then there's Battleground stuff. If you're interested in Battlegrounds, check out Blizzlet. They are the only podcast I know that covers Battlegrounds. They're also really funny, by the way. But don't go in expecting a PG podcast. It will be, it'll be more R-rated. So, okay. Bug fixes and game improvements. There is one for Hearthstone. There are 2 for Battlegrounds as well. You will be allowed to play health cost cards that cost more than your remaining health if you have Arisen Onyxia active. So this is a restriction that has long been a thing, where if you would pay health for it, but you're actually like gaining health or whatever, like is the case with Arisen Onyxia, then you can't pay more health than you have. So you can't do it even if you're actually going to be gaining that health. So that applied to Onyxia as well. They broke that restriction, but just for Onyxia. So it hasn't come up in a while, probably because we just it's a hard and fast rule that we've all accepted. But here, like you were saying earlier about wild folks wanting to do wild things and like growing health and that kind of thing. Yes, and this is a thing that breaks rules that other Hearthstone cards have. Wild people like that too. I'm extra surprised we haven't seen like kicking around like D5 people just experimenting with this with the Risen Onyxia decks.
I watched Martian Boo play a game where he was playing with Risen Onyxia. He top decked her, he plays her, he thinks, oh man, this is going to give me my out. And he has 4 health and he gets 2 10 drops. And I don't think his 2 10 drops that he got were going to save him. But he did lose, and he did uninstall Hearthstone on stream. He has since reinstalled, but he did in fact uninstall in that moment, and I just passed Sheep the clip that caused that moment to happen in our DMs. So hopefully, if Sheep remembers, he will place this clip in the video description so that you can watch this and you can enjoy what happens when this bug wasn't fixed, because that was a deep frustration for a lot of people who played the card.
Yeah, I remember, I think you sent this like around whenever it came out and you were like, oh no, don't do this.
Martian uninstalled. He's gone. That's what it was. And like I watched him go like uninstall and he's like, I'll put it back together again tomorrow. I don't know, guys. I'm just kidding.
I'm glad that he didn't even leave people in anticipation.
No, he didn't.
That's good. So that was the patch notes for 35.0.3. Very quickly, the Hearthstone Winter Championship is here.
Oh, yes.
So starting next Friday, April 10th. Yeah. Maxi's in it. Spoiler alert, that's who I'm picking too. So Friday, April 10th through Sunday, April 12th, starting each day at 8 a.m. Pacific time. That's 5 p.m. CEST. This one is standard. I know, y'all. But it is 4-deck best of 5 conquest with a ban. Day 1, A and B groups play, double elimination bracket. Day 2, C and D groups play, double elimination bracket. Maxi is in D, if I recall correctly. Yes. Day 3, top 8 single elimination bracket, third place match. With third place match. Prize pool, 50K. So the top 3 competitors will qualify for a Masters Tour Championship later this week. There are drops. You can earn up to 3 Cataclysm packs while watching on Twitch. 1 each day. Choose your champion. Choose a competitor in the Winter Championship, and the better they finish, the more packs you'll earn. So, I mean, we picked Born to Be Wild listener series legend Maxi Bond 1 2 3 4. I mean, that's what I do.
Oh yeah.
He always gets me a lot of packs. If he's not there, I pick Pocket.
Pocket's also pretty good. And a nice person.
Except for that one time whenever I picked what was his name? The guy who there was someone who I knew of the same name and who also coincidentally was a guy who played Wild.
Oh yeah.
In that one. I feel bad for not remembering that guy's name. Alas. So choose your champion. That is there. Co-streamers. If you are interested in co-streaming the Hearthstone Winter Championship, this is for our content creators out there, then please fill out the form that's linked up there. As soon as possible, do be considered faux co-streaming. They forgot the R and 4. Casters. Edelweiss, Lorinda, Pocket Train, Raven, and Soddle. Pocket is casting the Masters Tour.
Perfect.
It's going to be on Twitch. It's going to be on YouTube. And I'm not going to read all the names or where all they are. If you are interested in doing that thing, head over there to choose your champion. And you know, if you're like me, you'll choose Maxi. And that is it for the news articles. But wait, there's more.
There's more. I thought you were going to go straight into unrelated advice. Oh, that's right. The Into the Tavern video. I made notes.
Today, they released an Inside the Tavern video. And in this video, they kind of go inside the tavern. They kind of give you a look behind the scenes on a lot of the development decisions and kind of the macro game plan, it seems like, and a retrospective and kind of looking forward. And Schmoopy, I was listening to this while we were putting the podcast together, but I know that you were actively taking notes.
I did.
So can you give me kind of like a best of for the Inside the Tavern video? What should I leave that like remembering?
Okay, let's see if I can do this in about like a third the time of the video. Cool. First, we started out with two very homogenous mechanics in Quests and Imbue. Mechanics that kind of took you as a deck builder and made you play a certain way and reduced your card choices, especially if you're playing in standard with a limited card pool as it is. So they realized they released those two mechanics too close together, and the only homogenous style of play that will be introduced this year will be the Herald mechanic. All the other mechanics are going to be more open than this. Next, they learned this year about the power of neutral legendaries. They want to try to reduce them in the future, or at least make them less obviously powerful, because things like Fyrakk and Elise were cards that they had to go and clean up afterwards a decent amount, and so they wanted to reduce that going forward this year. They want to make day one of an expansion the time that you want to play that expansion. They do not want you to be run over by Imbue Druid. So unfortunately that happened this time. But they want to in future expansions, they want to make sure that the exciting time to play is going to be day one, when things are a little bit less refined and a little bit all over the place, and your crappy deck has a better chance to succeed. Next, there is Arena. We are going to get dual class Arena more often, and also they want to include more arena specific cards. Yes, sometimes they're OP, like Infinite Wolves. Those got a very special shout out. But other than that, like Wayward Probe, right? And yeah, right. That like cards like Wayward Probe were really good for tying together a Starship strategy in the arena on a limited card pool. These have been, in general, I've enjoyed these. In fact, I think the custom arena cards recently have made Arena feel more like duels to me than necessarily Arena. Arena used to be so slow. Arena used to be so plodding and so deliberate. And now it feels a little bit more explosive or a little bit more scammy here or there. And anything that's like not constructed, that's kind of like duels, kind of gets my attention. So that's, even though duels was constructed, but you know what I mean, Chad, shut up. That portion looks good to me. And they're also balancing Arena a little bit more frequently and taking feedback a little bit more frequently, which I think is also good. They're not leading the same Arena meta stew for 6 months, right? That hasn't happened for a while now. So.
No.
Last but not least, they are moving away from mini sets. They are going towards class sets. Class sets, when introduced, should not so much be, let's say, bolstering a current strategy within a class, but introducing a new one, or maybe like being a piece that would work in more than one. But they're basically looking to cut the pack filler cards from every expansion and instead introduce more purposeful class-driven cards that could support given strategies now, or even pivot to things that are completely new. There is no rhyme or reason to when the class sets come out other than a typical cadence. They talked a lot about, okay, so there's the 0.2 patch, the 0.4 patch, the 0.6 patch. The 0.4 patch is when we normally get mini sets. That's also when we're going to be getting our class sets. Not every class will get a set every expansion, but by the end of the year, every class will have gotten one. That's the plan. Not only these class sets sort of getting introduced to kind of mix up the meta, but also they made a big deal about how they're having more event cards come out. So like the one they highlighted was Times Herald Raptor, which was like, its text was evolving as the year went on, which it said in the text it was going to, which was really cute. That is a card that becomes an important card competitively. I know that Sands of Time is making a big deal in Standard now because some people who didn't play on an account during the event did not get the card, and there is currently no way to obtain the card, which seems like a problem when literally every other card available in the card game is available in some way, shape, or form, but not this particular card that is seeing a lot of play in competitive Standard. Oops. That card,
even though it was free, currently you cannot acquire it.
It was free, but not anymore. You missed your window.
Now you can't throw enough money at the screen to
go get it. Yeah, that's not an option for you. They want more event cards to slip in, and those event cards coming in should also act as meta shakeups on the 0.2 and the 0.6. So I think it's an interesting strategy that I'm perfectly happy to see play out. Like, okay, sure, let's be more targeted, let's be more on theme, and also with the events, with the deep, they're trying like harder than ever to sort of connect to some sort of lore and connect it to like something concrete that we would talk about with Goliath. Well, if we do like a class, then that lets us go deeper on this lore. If we do this event, that lets us do this kind of card. And so like it's going to be roughly the same number of cards, but maybe less of a all at once and more a little bit dribbles, a little bit more of an even covering. And that was the notes I got.
And I've really liked, in particular, the event cards. Like the change from a mini set to a class set. Like, we'll see how that's implemented. I'm excited about that. Like, if we get like more cohesive class things, that sounds really cool. We definitely don't know the cost of those, right? What I really like about the event cards is that these are cards that they're giving everyone for free, and we get all these cards for free. And if they are getting more competitive, then we're getting better cards for free, and we're getting cards on a regular cadence for free, and I like that.
Same.
Unrelated Advice with Electric Sheep City.
Sheep.
Hi.
My question for you is this. What April Fool's Day gimmick of all time would you implement into an actual update to Hearthstone?
Ooh. I think the one that I would implement, there's so many good choices, but I'm going to have to go with the Baham's.
Wise words have never been spoken. You heard that on
Born to be wild.
Uriel's was the leading priest.